Grading top transfer portal players. What are the, you know, there's a lot of players in the portal. There's over like 6,000, I'm pretty sure. We're going to take the top like 15 and we're going to grade them. And we're going to give predictions for what I think they're going to do on their new teams. Now, this list is, when I was putting it together, I really kind of enjoyed putting this segment together. First player is one that you all know, wide receiver Cam Coleman. He transferred from Auburn to Texas. This player, he's a wide receiver. He was at Auburn. He's a former 5-star. I think he's a sophomore. The guy can play football. His stats are on the screen for this past season. Nothing like that jumps out at you. But he was also playing for Auburn, who hasn't had a good quarterback in forever, which luckily for him, his quarterback now is going to be Arch Manning. So Texas this year, this is the best chance for Texas to win a title, in my opinion. When you look at Texas's roster, keeping Arch Manning, keeping Ryan Wingo, he's returning. He's another receiver. Cam Coleman transferring in, Ryan Niblett at a third receiver. One of the best wide receiver rooms in the nation. I mean, obviously Ohio State's gonna have one of the best with Ryan Williams, Brandon Inniss. They're gonna, bring in Chris Henry. They're gonna have a stacked, roster over at Ohio State in the receiver room. But Texas is a close second, very close. I'm excited for Cam Coleman with Arch Manning. I think that's going to be a great duo. And again, they brought in a few running backs. We actually talk about one of the running backs later. But yeah, I got to say, I can't wait to see what Cam Coleman can do on Texas. Next is Sam Leavitt. Sam Leavitt was a former Arizona State quarterback. He transferred from Arizona State to LSU. I'm very excited to see what he can do because I think this guy has a ton of talent. This guy is a phenomenal quarterback. He's the quarterback that led Arizona State to their playoff run back in 2024. Yeah, last year. They led them back to the playoff run. First 12-team era. Arizona State won the Big 12, went to the playoff, almost beat They got a first-round bye, almost beat Texas, and almost played Ohio State in the Final Four. That would have been a fun game. But LSU's quarterback room is something to look for. They have Sam Leavitt, transfer. Hussein Longstreet, transfer from USC. We talk about him next, actually. And they also have quarterback Landon Clark from Elon, where actually it's where Kurt Cignetti used to coach. So they got a loaded quarterback room. LSU is the team that's going to be set at quarterback for probably the next 3 years because you have Sam Leavitt this year, Longstreet probably the next 2 years. What can we expect from LSU's offense this year? That's the question most people want to know. That's the question I want to know. I'm very excited to see. Well, when you look at what their offense has been, and LSU hasn't been anything to jump out. Ever since Jane Daniels, their offense hasn't been anything that really stands out. Like when you look at their team, it's mostly been defense the last 2 years. So, which is crazy because the year they had Jane Daniels, they had no defense. So LSU can never, for some reason, they can't seem to get a good defense and offense on the same team. It's either, you have a great offense and no defense, or a great defense and no offense. This year, I think they're going to have both. So expect LSU to contend this year, offensively at least. So that's Sam Leavitt. I'm excited to see what he can do there. Next is the quarterback we just mentioned not that long ago, Hussein Longstreet. This quarterback was former USC, newly LSU. He's a freshman. This guy's going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait for him in probably 2027. I don't think he's starting in 2026 when you have someone like Sam Leavitt. When I saw he was transferring from USC, he was a sneaky guy that I was like, wherever he goes, they're going to be in luck. Because, you have Oregon. Oregon's a team that brought in Dylan Raiola, and he's going to sit behind Dante Moore for a year. Hussein Longstreet is another guy that transferred who didn't have to start. Dylan Raiola didn't have to start. Hussein Longstreet doesn't have to start. Guy's a freshman. He doesn't have to start. He's got 3 years of eligibility if he needs it. So he's not going to start. So who will start quarterback? I'm going to say Sam Leavitt. That'd be my guess, would be Sam Leavitt. When we get into spring intel, we'll get more of a, feel on what the quarterback situation is there, but I'd be shocked if you don't see Sam Leavitt starting quarterback for them. Next up, real quick, I forgot to throw up Hussein Longstreet's stats, but he's a freshman. He didn't really play a ton, so you can't really expect a ton from him. Next is a quarterback that was I want to say one of the first quarterbacks to enter the portal, and that is Brendan Sorsby, former Cincinnati quarterback, newly Texas Tech. This guy's a 5-star. He was a 5-star portal ranking. He is the second-ranked portal player, overall. I'm very excited to see what he could do at Texas Tech. He's played in the Big 12. He was at Cincinnati, so it's not like he's, being in a new conference. He knows the competition, and I think he's going to excel here. Texas Tech's the Big 12 favorites. You have Texas Tech 1, BYU, Utah, Arizona State. Those are the favorites to win the Big 12. Clear starter for Texas Tech in 2026. I don't really know what else to say about him. Other than the expectations for Texas Tech in 2026 is going to be win the Big 12 again. Get to the playoffs again, maybe win a game in the playoffs, but mostly just win the Big 12 again, because that's probably what they're going to do. And next is a player that I am very high on, and this is Chaz Coleman, the former Penn State edge rusher. This guy, pro comp, is Abdul Carter. He's from Penn State. I think he's going to be phenomenal. From Penn State to Tennessee. He's now at Tennessee. He was a 5-star portal player, ranked 5-star according to 247 Sports. He is 7th overall portal player in the portal 247 Sports rankings. One of the things that I keep an eye on with Chaz Coleman is he's back with his former defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, which is big. That is big because Jim Knowles was, kind of the player. He was his first ever defensive coordinator was Jim Knowles. So I think not too much is going to have to change for Chaz Coleman. So I think he's going to be in kind of the same system. I really am excited to see what this Tennessee team can do, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Quarterback, I'm not quite sure. They brought in Ryan Staub. I don't know what they're going to be quite yet. I mean, Chaz Coleman's a freshman. Again, those stats, he just kind of played off and on this year. But as for Tennessee, I just think that they'll probably be a top 25 team. Will they win the SEC? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I mean, they could, but I don't think so. Next is another player that I really like. I like all these players, to be honest with you. Drew Mestemaker, former quarterback from North Texas, newly Oklahoma State. He is a 5-star portal ranked or rated player. He is ranked 3rd in 247 Sports rankings for the portal. Key thing here, he reunites with a lot of North Texas players, plus the coach. North Texas coach left North Texas to go to Oklahoma State, so I'm very excited to see what he can do there. Again, key players, Caleb Hawkins, the running back from North Texas, also transferred to Oklahoma State. I cannot wait to see what those two as a pair do. The receiver from North Texas also went to Oklahoma State as well. So is this Oklahoma State's team going to compete for the Big 12 this year? That's the question I have, is can this team compete for the Big 12? I'm going to say yeah. That'd be my guess. I think, will I pick them to win the Big 12? Probably not. Will I pick them to be in the Big 12 championship? I don't know. We're going to wait on I'll do my, conference predictions probably more towards the summer. Maybe I'll do an early one. Maybe I'll do like a preview in the spring. But main conference predictions, we'll get to the hardcore stuff in the summer. Another player that I really liked in the portal, or by the way, Drew Mestemaker, here's his stats, by the way. I mean, the guy had 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, only 9 picks, 68% completion percentage. The guy was just a phenomenal player. I'm very excited to see what he can do at Oklahoma State. Texas A&M, bringing in a key player, Isaiah Horton. This is a phenomenal pickup for Texas A&M, and not just for the reason that because, this guy was like big name receiver, 4-star. He was ranked 11th in the 247 portal rankings. It's not only that. It's the fact that Horton pairs up with Mario Craver at wide receiver. This will be a deadly pair. Deadly pair at wide receiver. I cannot wait for this Texas A&M season because, yes, they had Casey Concepcion last year, so it's not like they're, losing out on... It's not like they're getting better at the wide receiver spot, but they're maintaining wide receiver, which is what Texas A&M needs to do because the season they had last year wasn't bad. Can A&M continue winning? Will they go 11-1? I don't know. We'll get to record predictions on teams probably next week. I'll start, trying to preview some schedules next week, especially in the SEC. because I think the Big 12 hasn't put out their schedule yet. And, like, some teams haven't put out their schedules yet, but the SEC has. So I will start previewing some schedules soon. What do we get from Marcel Reed? Because that's his quarterback at Texas A&M. So what do we get there? This is the biggest question. Do we get a Marcel Reed, career year? Because he was okay last year. He was nothing to write home about, but he was good. The year before that, he kind of split time with Connor Wigman. Now it's his full-time team. I mean, this guy's been here. He knows how to run this offense. Marcel Reed, no excuses this year. So I'm excited to see what this Texas A&M team can do and hopefully continue winning. Next is Baylor. Baylor signed a big player in the portal, and that is DJ Lagway, former Florida quarterback, newly Baylor quarterback. He's the 14th player in the portal according to 247 Sports. 4-star rated. Here's a big thing about DJ Lagway is he probably 9 times out of 10 would have landed at FSU, but FSU kind of dropped the ball on that. They went for Ashton Daniels. I think they went the cheap route, but I think DJ Lagway would have been the best option. But him at Baylor is a fun pair. I expect big things for Dave Aranda and DJ Lagway in 2026. I've always been a Dave Aranda supporter. I've loved Dave Aranda as the head coach at Baylor. Even in his down years, I thought he was going to have a good team. I cannot wait for this Baylor team. I predicted Baylor versus Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship last year, if that tells you how high I was on them. So, am I going to do that again this year? Probably not. But, I mean, hey, 8-4, not too bad. 9-3, we'll take it. Byron Brown is the next player I have in front of me. Byron Brown's going to be a phenomenal quarterback for Auburn. Auburn has had quarterback struggles for a long time, maybe since Cam Newton, I think. But I tell you what, bringing in, they had Bo Nix in like 2020, I want to say. 2020 was Bo Nix, I'm pretty sure. He was really good. So, but for Byron Brown, for Auburn, bringing in a good quarterback, especially pairing up with his former head coach, because Brown is the quarterback that Auburn has been waiting for, to be honest with you. I had to throw that in there. But Brown is teaming up with former head coach at USF, Alex Golesh. So I think that's going to be a fun pair in the SEC especially. We'll see what they can do there. Is he a Heisman contender? I have that written down. He was the 24th rated portal player according to 247. Is he a Heisman contender? I don't know. I want to say yes, but I don't know. We'll get into kind of the Heisman odds later. I did my preseason Heisman pick, and I think I want to say I took Julian Sand, but I think Byron Brown's definitely going to be a Heisman player at Auburn if he can get some good pieces around him. Stats at USF, I mean, it says it for himself. I don't have to explain these stats. These stats are phenomenal. 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 picks. Got another 1,000 yards on the ground. He had over 4,200 yards total. So the guy's going to be a phenomenal player. Next is Deuce Knight, the former Auburn quarterback, newly Ole Miss, taking over for Trinidad Chambliss. I assume at this point Trinidad Chambliss isn't coming back. Ole Miss also lost Austin Simmons. He went to Missouri. I got to say, how good can Deuce Knight be? Can he be good enough for Ole Miss to contend for the playoffs? I think so. I hope so. I loved whenever Ole Miss was good. It was fun to see. He only played one game, so this is only 1 game stats for Deuce Knight. So don't take this too much into consideration, his stats, because it's only a 1 game sample size. But I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. Sorry to take a quick drink. The mouth was getting dry. But I think he's going to be a phenomenal player, especially in the Ole Miss system. Trinidad Chambliss thrived. I think he'll thrive as well. Next is a player I am excited about. The next 2 players combined are going to be guys I'm excited about. It says it on the screen. Nick Marsh. I am excited about Nick Marsh. He is going to be a great player. I cannot wait to see him paired with a certain quarterback that we'll talk about next. But Nick Marsh, former Michigan State, newly Indiana, 4-star in the ratings for 247, 33rd ranked in 247. Marsh plus Josh Hoover former TCU quarterback, new Indiana quarterback. That's a quarterback we'll talk about here in a few moments. But I was going through former Michigan State receivers, former Indiana guys, and who was I going to compare this guy to? Keon Coleman. Nick Marsh is kind of gonna be Keon Coleman. I think he's gonna be, this is pro comparison, is Keon Coleman. He's a sophomore. He's gonna be a phenomenal player. I cannot wait to see what he can do at Michigan State, or at Indiana. I'm sorry. But yeah, him pairing up with Josh Hoover is gonna be a phenomenal pair. And speaking of Josh Hoover, he was the former TCU quarterback, newly Indiana, 4-star, 46th ranked player in the portal. His TCU offense was very similar to Indiana's. Indiana was number 1 in read option plays run. TCU was number 2. So that's why they went after Josh Hoover, because he's so similar, runs the same type of offense that Indiana does. So I think it's going to be a seamless fit. I think he's just going to slide right into Indiana's, system. I think he's going to fit perfectly with that Kurt Denny Indiana team, who might run it back. We'll see. So yeah, that's my Josh Hoover take. Him plus Marsh should be a great duo, like I said earlier. And his stats for TCU are kind of just explain it for themselves. I mean, it was pretty good stats. He's a very good player. Like I said, I'm excited to see what he can do at Indiana. I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback for them and kind of just take over the Fernando Mendoza role very nicely. Next is quarterback Rocco Becht, former Iowa State quarterback, newly Penn State, 247 rating. He's listed as a 4-star, 34th player in the portal, right behind Nick Marsh. He's also following Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell was the head coach for Iowa State, newly head coach for Penn State. I think he's going to be a guy that will be able to work in Andy Kolenicki's offense. I believe Andy Kolenicki's still the offensive coordinator there, so he'll hopefully fit well there. What will Penn State be in 2026? Well, that is, we're actually going to talk about Penn State at the end of the show as well, not in a specific segment, but someone asked a question about Penn State, so we'll get into that at the end of the show. But Penn State, I think, needs to win like 9 games, 10 games, and that will be good enough in year 1 for Matt Campbell. After that, there's going to be high expectations, but just start winning with Penn State. Bring them back. Kind of bring them back to the national radar. All right. We got 2 more players left. Go rapid fire here. Hollywood Smothers is the former NC State running back. He is the new Texas running back. Hollywood Smothers, plus Arch Manning, plus Cam Coleman will be just insane. This offense is going to be high-powered. I cannot wait to see what this team does offensively. It's just going to be insane. It's an insane trio. This guy was like, almost a 1,000-yard rusher at NC State. Yeah, almost a 1,000-yard rusher. 939 yards at Penn State on 160 rushes. Guy averaged 6 yards a carry, 6 touchdowns. So, phenomenal player. 0 fumbles, by the way. So, he's going to be a great player. And last but not least, Quincy Porter, former Ohio State wide receiver, newly to Notre Dame. He is listed as a 4-star, 45th player in 247 Sports portal rankings. He will be CJ Carr's top weapon alongside Jordan Faison. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. I can't wait to see what this CJ Carr plus Quincy Porter plus Jordan Faison Notre Dame team does. I think they're going to be a phenomenal team. I can't wait just to watch Notre Dame in general. I think Notre Dame's going to be definitely way better than they were last year. That's no knock on the players they had last year. But CJ Carr coming back for another year is going to be phenomenal. Pairing with Quincy Porter, who, the guy's a freshman. The guy's got 3 years left in college. He kind of didn't have that many stats for, this team. Sorry, the graphic went away. But he kind of didn't have that many stats throughout the year. But it's because he only played in like a few games. So, again, that's my take on the portal. I think it's going to be a phenomenal portal class of players coming up for the 2026 season. I cannot wait. And, yeah, that's my entire transfer portal take.